January 20th, 2026, the 365th day of the Sex Offender Administration. Donald Trump sent a letter on January 18th to Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre, in which Trump complained, quote, "Considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America." He's going to do what's good and proper for the United States of America? Trump's self-deporting, y'all. 13,728 pounds of ready-to-eat grilled chicken breast products from Susanna's Kitchen, a Georgia company, has been recalled for potential listeria contamination. Trump will be sending the contaminated meats to ICE deportation camps in an attempt to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Several people were injured on Monday after more than 100 vehicles, including as many as 40 tractor-trailers, piled up in western Michigan due to intense snowfall, wreaking havoc on the roads across the Great Lakes. The same Arctic weather pattern has brought unusually frigid weather to as far south as Florida. If this Arctic weather pattern impedes ICE operations in any way, the Trump's DOJ is going to sue it. Bulgaria's President Rumen Rudolph said he would resign from office on January 20th, ending his second term a year early amid deepening political turmoil and mounting speculation that he is preparing to launch his own political movement ahead of snap parliamentary elections. President Rumen Rudolph is resigning 1 year early and 9 years too late. This has been a Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll with headlines and punchlines for January 20th, 2026, the 365th day of the Sex Offender Administration. Join me live at the Church of Last Resort Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on MindDog TV.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact.
And Tim Pool.
Independent
Don't forget about Tim Pool.
fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
We got a cup of coffee in here, please.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Hi, I'm Tim Paul, and I got a push button. Damn good coffee and hot.
Mind Dog is your mind's best friend.
That's right. Online knowledge of that's my best friend.
Mind Dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
I'm not really here for that. No, I'm not really. Not get away. It all comes in sight. As we kind of button push and all that kind of stuff. How tight I am. Probably need a shave. And little color in the mustache. Looking kind of old. And that's fun. Wow. Good morning, folks. It is Tuesday, otherwise known as the second Monday of the week, January 20th, 2026. And it seems that our friend GD is causing havoc on my little YouTube feed with the shorts. People are arguing about everything he brings up, calling him a dirty liberal, which I'm sure he's been called worse. Or Democrat, and I'm sure he's been called worse than that too. If you haven't noticed, I'm Tim Pool. I'm wearing my hat because I'm cold. Somehow, I don't know, the heat's just not, I had to kick it up a little bit. Sooner or later, it will get a little warmer in here, but for right now, it's freaking freezing. Yes, I mean, we're getting quite a bit of Trump trolleyism, the real Trump derangement syndrome, in the shorts on my YouTube channel, and I'm not being nice. Yeah, that comes as a surprise. I'm not being. You're supposed to be nice in the YouTube chat room. It's not like Twitter where you can just say your mother's a skank whore and go fuck a couch and get an STD or whatever. Um, you really can't say that. But I've been coming close. I've had it. I've had it with these knuckleheads. Um, but basically, last night I probably got about 4 or 5 of these knuckleheads responding to something GD said on January 1st about how to fix the Supreme Court or something. And they're, oh, well, liberals always want to pack the court. Let me, liberals, conservatives, Democrats, Republicans, everybody in politics wants to stack the court. Since there's been a court. So that's just you're just outing yourself as a Trump derangement syndrome person. Anyway, today, the second Monday of the week, January 20th, 2026, we're going to be talking about God. Where's John Fugelsang when I need him? Paul Granger. Yes, I can remember his first name. I think I'm Russ. I don't know. He is the author of A Year in Books. He'll be with us. He's got a ministry in near Richmond, Virginia. And I don't know why A Year in Books. I don't think he wrote all the books in a year. There's lots of books, like 24 books or something. I have questions, though. I may not have any good questions, but I have questions. Anyway, that's what to expect today. I'll get right to Ian saying, eat my shorts. You know what? They make edible shorts, right? I mean, is that what you're wearing? Is it, you know what? Just for that, Ian. Just for that eat my shorts comment, I'm going to play this.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now is a man who is causing all sorts of Trump derangement syndrome on my YouTube channel, and I'm here for all of it. Good morning, GD Fenderson.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Crappy anniversary. Today is the first anniversary of the second time the Third Reich has infected our fourth estate. Yes, it's the end of democracy as we know it. And I feel like we better do something quick before it's too late. MindDogTV.com/merch. Go to MindDogTV.com/merch for all your stuff that you don't need but shoulda, oughta have. So, support your local mercenaries and enjoy the suffering.
I don't even know what any of that means.
I didn't get a chance to write it down. I was trying to do it from memory.
Ad-libbing and you were libbing ad.
Well, I wasn't trying to ad-lib it. I was trying to write it down, but I didn't think of it until just before you introduced me. I thought I'd have another half an hour.
You got plenty of time. Let's do it again. Take 2. Oh. No, we did it already. Kevin, happy Kevin Benson. I'm sorry. Kevin. I got the other Brennan in my mind from this morning. There was that. But anyway. He's got me confused here. Why is he saying taking the piss? Because I know what taking the piss means, but why did he bring that up?
Well, I think he said taking the piss.
The piss. Yeah, you're taking the piss out of somebody. Yeah, I get it. Years ago, I didn't know what that meant, but why did he bring that up? Now, did somebody say that? Did you say that? Where did he?
I don't know. I don't know.
Kev, I'm easily confused. We know this. Don't confuse me anymore by just purposely just bringing up stuff that I'm not. I can't keep.
It says Trump is taking the piss on America.
No, he is taking a piss on America, but more on Greenland. Now, this whole thing about these people, you know, these people, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
these people who argue that he only wanted peace. Like, I think this idea with this letter proves he didn't only want peace; he wanted an award. And now that he's not getting the award, he's thinking about. I mean, in his own language, there, I can no longer think of peace. He never was thinking of peace. He was thinking of an award. He wants an award. He's got Obama derangements in him, doesn't he? He just
Now,
wants.
I don't see many AI things that I think of that I like. Very seldom, because it's the more I see AI, the more I dislike it. You know, but now I did see something that I thought was cute. It was a series of, I guess they're memes, but they're animated, of different people taking their awards and giving them to Trump. So so like Simone Miles of South, she's offering her gold medal, and Thor is offering his hammer. Now that's the problem I do have, is that when Thor gives Trump his hammer, Thor should drop it because he's not worthy. He shouldn't be able to pick it up. But other than that, and I like the one where Obama's holding his Nobel Prize like this, out of Trump's reach, and Trump is doing this. I think that's cute. Yeah. And there's a line outside of the White House, outside of Trump's office, and all these people with their awards.
See, to me, jokes are like milk.
They turn bad after a while.
Yeah, well, they should have an expiration date on them, like something like that. That would have been funny the day of or the day after with the award thing. But almost a week later, it's like, come on, that joke's been told so many times. That, I'm going to give him my award from 3rd grade where I got the gold star, whatever. Everybody's done every variation.
Right. Of that joke. That's why I told my wife and I will be sitting in the living room watching television. Something will happen, and I'll go, "Oh, I can do something with that." And then I'll say to my wife, "But I have to check to see if there are memes out there already, because I don't want to look like I'm Johnny come lately."
Yeah.
And only that, there's some things that have been out there, like they could have done it the moment that she did it. The moment she, and I wouldn't see it until like a week later.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the problem with you see things that say today on social media, and it's always like today was actually last week or something.
Oh yeah. Now I had when I write the news things for the Rev to do, matter of fact, I did it this morning at like 4:00. So I get up and I always Google today's headlines, and the headlines that they gave, every last one of them were from 3 days ago. They were all from Friday. Every last one of them. And so that site, there was something wrong with that site. So I had to like go to another.
They were off yesterday. That's what was wrong with them. They were off. It was Martin Luther King's. It wasn't really.
So you're telling me there's a black guy doing that? It says that I ain't updating shit today. I'm off.
That's it. That's yeah. Or he had his big Martin Luther King hangover.
Oh, that's right. Well, Martin Luther King Day is a big drinking holiday.
It is. It's like St. Patrick's Day, except it's just Colt 45. see what I did there?
Yeah. Pow.
It's not green beer, it's black beer.
Oh, see, I was thinking like the gun.
Yeah. Right. Oh,
because he ate a bullet.
Yeah. So Paul Granger's supposed to be here in just a couple of minutes, and we're going to talk about God. He's got a lot of books, like 24 books.
Now, has he been on the show before?
No.
How did he find the show?
Through Facebook, a podcasting group on Facebook. Like I think I posted something like 3 years ago, and he finally said, "Oh, this guy interviews authors." I have some questions about some of his books.
Yeah, like why he's coming on here to push them. No, I'm just teasing.
No,
I mean anybody's welcome. I'm just thinking what audience he's thinking.
We talk a lot about golf. We also got another golf guy who pitched in last night for a show coming up in February. We're getting a lot of golf.
Oh, speaking of golf,
because of you.
Speaking of golf, my wife, something popped up on my wife's phone. It was a Huffington Post article, and it said Trump. It's finally proof that Trump cheats at golf or something strange like that. And I'm like, What? Huffington Post is just getting around to noticing that?
I think we are on Instagram. So Instagram's acting a little funny today. We had a black screen there for a few minutes. Now we're back over. I don't know what's going on over there. Yeah, so you are attracting the whole golf crowd because I didn't know this. You were a golf aficionado. Who knew? You knew, but I didn't know. Nobody else knew. So yeah, you could tell the Rev from me that anytime he quotes Trump, he doesn't have to do the voice because it's annoying. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that voice. I'm trying to get in a good mood.
So the voice is good enough that it upsets you.
Yeah,
it's
it
not
doesn't
good
have
enough
to be good enough. It's just
I used to do a better Trump back when I was with Politipod, but because they already had a Trump, they didn't want to switch Trump people.
Wow.
Even though
we already got a Trump.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Now my Trump was actually better, to be honest. It was only because
I don't know. You should have a Trump off and let the.
Well, we did. He and I did, and he admitted it. But the thing is, he'd been doing Trump for like 3 years on Politipod, and so he was the Trump voice. So whenever he did that voice, we didn't have to introduce that character. They just knew that was Trump. Now, and I also did a better Biden. His Biden was awful.
Well, you were just
again,
Biden time.
Okay, I found the thing about my wife sent me about Huffington. Well, she didn't send it, but I found it. Huffington Post. This is what it says. Said it under sports writer Rick Riley said his accusation that President Trump cheats at golf was just confirmed from an unexpected source and under oath too.
Wow.
So under oath, that means they swore before God that Trump cheats at golf. And you know who did it? Oh, wait a minute. Senator Lindsey Graham was asked in a 2022 grand jury interview if Trump cheats at golf, according to documents obtained this week by the New York Times. Politics. Oh, I'm sorry. Some people say you may outdrive him, but you're not going to outdrive his caddy, Graham said. Is what it is. Riley was quick to highlight that quote on X as proof. So Lindsey Graham outed Trump as a cheater under oath. So it's not like we didn't know, but this is the first time somebody said it under oath. It's been said in books. It's been said all over the place.
Lindsey Graham is such a flip-flopping, waffling. Because on Twitter he said that he's just that good. He never cheats. So it's one.
Yeah, but again, Twitter is not under oath.
I know. I get it. Well, it is.
It's people swear. Just because people swear at it and swear on it does not mean it's oath. Yeah,
I get the wrong.
Yeah.
But you said before God. Our guest today will tell us that anywhere you go is saying it before God, right?
Well, for some reason, and this is the thing. This is what I hate about the courts. For some reason, they make you take that oath and they say, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help me God. Okay, now
so help me God.
I do know people who have taken the oath and don't care because they don't believe in that God, right. and so they say, and they will say, I will lie. They have lied under oath because the oath they took is to God or before God, and they're like, I don't care.
Right.
So why?
I think if you want to tell the truth, you really don't need God's help. You could just tell the truth.
I think they should say, tell the truth under penalty of perjury. We will lock your ass up. I think that would be more compelling than under God. Because there are people all the time who walk out there and say, if there's a God, strike me down with lightning right now. See?
Wow,
no No God, right there. Look at that. No God.
And
whatsoever.
So in that case, you think God is saying, well, I'll do it on my time. I'll get when I'm ready, I will strike you down, but I don't take orders from you.
Or God is saying, I'm getting my thunderbolts cleaned right now. I'm not going to throw dirty thunderbolts because you get infected.
I have so many questions.
It's like making sure the needles are clean before you put somebody to death by lethal injection.
I like this. We're priming the conversation about God because I have so many questions, and I wish John Fugelsang were here to kind of help me figure things out. But let's get to our guest. Ready? He's here. Are you ready?
Sure.
Well, you just look away like I'm not interested in God. Paul Granger.
Well, no matter where I look, I'm looking toward God because God is everywhere.
Well, you know how the Rev has this looking for God in all the wrong places?
Yes.
Paul Granger has a podcast called Where Did You See God?
I saw that.
Maybe there's some kind of collaborative possibilities there. I don't know. Paul Granger, Paul's job is ambassador of Christ. I applied for that job on Indeed. They rejected me without even looking at my resume. Anything else that falls under that call. One of the ways God has invited him to live out that call is love God, and the call to love God and love others is through creating authentic, accessible space for conversation like we're about to have, and community, which we don't really ever have here, for and advocating for those. Man, I need some new glasses. You see this? That may go unseen.
You have maxed out. There's awful thickness.
He's here now. Let's say good morning to Paul Granger. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. And I like that you were trying to work that segue in there. Oh, you said God. Well, I got a guest in there. That was smooth. I like that.
Well, we talk about God a lot on this program, and I'm just like confused about it, and I question it all the time, and I'm a dirty sinner, and so we're good to have you here to help me find my way. Help me find my way.
I myself took a shower, so I'm a clean sinner.
Hey, there you go. Well, and it's fair because I mean, you look at 2025 was a mess, and there's a lot of people that said they believe in God that seem to be making a lot of messes, and so it can be very confusing to know who God is and what God is and what he's doing. So I get it. You know
what my greatest prayer is? God, please exist. Please exist. Like, because when I have my doubts, and which is all day long, every day, I really want there to be a God. I really want there to be a God. And please exist. You don't have to prove it to me. Just really exist, because I know I'm talking to you all day long, and I'm not necessarily thinking that I'm like you write your books, not knowing if anybody's reading them. I'm talking to a God that I have no idea whether he's even listening or if exists.
Now, Matt, I agree with what you just said, except for one small caveat. I want my God to exist. I have my own. I have a different conception of what I think what God should be like, and that's the one I want to exist, not the ones like the God.
But it would be the same God. You just think of him.
Because you look at Trump's God, and I apologize to people who think I'm bringing politics into it. I'm not. I'm bringing God into it. Politics just ruined it. But Trump has a huge evangelical Christian following. And that is, but the things he does are so against the teachings of Christ, again, which is slightly different than saying God, but it's the teachings of Christ is what Christians adhere to or should adhere to.
Well,
go ahead, Paul, please.
That's fair, because one of the things that really upset me this week is the Department of Homeland Security on their official social media posted a video. And it quoted the verse that said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, because they will be called sons of God."
Right. The video was talking about the guns.
Predominantly, there's you got, the troops are flying on helicopters and they're blowing doors open. And I'm like, I am confident that is not what Jesus meant when he said peacemakers. And so this is hard, because this is now an official post from a government entity quoting scripture. And of course, people are now going to be confused, because there are some that, like me, are like, I really don't think that's what peacemakers means. But there are others that are like, that is absolutely what he meant, because Jesus said, get your swords and let's go. And it makes a mess of understanding who God is, what Christianity is, what faith is, what religion is. And let's be honest, this isn't new, because throughout the history of mankind, religion has been a messy, messy thing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious about the way you worded something, because you worded something just like I do when I'm at home talking to my wife. When my wife says something that needs to be corrected, I don't say you're wrong. I say, I don't think that's what was meant by that. And so you're saying, I don't think Jesus meant peacekeepers when he said that. I don't think he meant
to be
to go
fair,
out
I
and
think
kill people.
peacekeeper is the name of a gun, right?
Right, and that's what I when I do my stand-up material on peacekeepers, that's what I talk about. I turn it into the gun. And of course, that's what the Trump administration.
I'm certain Jesus wasn't talking about the gun.
It wasn't invented yet.
Right. So I think we have that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I think, Paul, I think it's safe for you to say, I know Jesus didn't mean that.
Yeah. Now I will say, part of the reason that I don't is because one thing I've come to really believe strongly in is the importance of humble introspection. Because there's a famous theologian, I don't remember who it is that said it, but he said that he's like, my theology is at least 20% wrong. Otherwise, I'd be perfect. The problem is I don't know which 20% is wrong. And I think many of us go through life justifiably, understandably, assuming that we are right about the things that we think that we're right about.
Yeah.
But we all know, all of it, all three of us, if we were honest, could think back to times in our lives where we were 100% confident about something. And now a decade later, like, oh man, I was such an idiot, right? Because we didn't have all the information, or we were driven by fear or something like that. There are times in our youth that we thought we were right when we were wrong.
Oh, Santa Claus.
Yeah, I will agree with you on principle there, but I don't think I've ever been 100% confident that I've been ever right about anything. I am so filled with self-doubt that I won't let myself get to that 100%. But there are things I thought I was right about that I've been surprised to find out how wrong I was.
Oh, there are things I'm 100% certain I'm right about, and when I'm talking to my wife, I still say, I don't think that's what that means. I don't think that's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah,
there's and it's not humble. It's not humble. It's just I don't want to fight.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not humble.
When I have authors on the show, I typically pull up a book, their most recent book to show. And in your case, there were so many books I didn't know where to begin. Now
a little crazy.
The title of this is A Year in Books. You didn't write all these books in 1 year, right?
I self-published a book a month. The majority of those were fresh in 2025. There was one that was already written, another one that was mostly written and put together, but the majority of them were all fresh in 2025.
Wow. All right, I want to go through some of them because I have. You say in your video there are some here that I guarantee will meet you where you are in life right now, and I would say there are probably about 10 of them that meet me where I am right now. So I want to talk about some of them. God won't provide, the lie that God won't provide, and this fear about always trying to. This is where I am. I mean, always struggling. I took on a lot of burden, put it this way. 20 years ago when I met my wife, she had 2 kids. She was about to lose her house. And I took all that on and have been like constantly living in fear of providing for them. Fear is a good word for it. I find myself saying that, and then I go, is that true? Yes, that's true. So talk to me about this idea, because I see homeless people and I say, well, is that what you mean by providing? I mean, obviously they got through the day somehow, but they're out there freezing. Maybe they got a meal yesterday. This idea of God won't provide, well, God will provide. And I was thinking about this the other day, the parable about the birds, and it does not, God not, they don't work and have a state.
Yeah.
So talk to me about this lie that God won't provide that we.
Yeah. So the title was the first thing that hit me. I woke up and it was just there, and it's God won't provide, the lie we don't believe we're believing. And the idea behind it is you have a lot of people that will go to church and may sing and shout out that God is provider on Sunday, but then on Monday live as though that's not true. We spend a lot of our life worried more about money, worried more about our expenses, worried more about our desires than we do about really considering what role God plays in that. And to your point, it's legit because we've all got bills. We got mortgages, we've got stomachs that need to be filled. And so, I was wrestling with this idea of, if I'm going to say that God is provider, I need to contend with the spaces in my life in which I'm living as though God can't provide, and understanding why is that. Now, here's what's hard, because you made a good point. When I started writing this book, I really wrestled with, who is this book for? Because it should be for anyone who wants to understand God as provider. But there are people that are like me, that are like kind of doing all right, but things can get tight. There are people that are living comfortably. There are people that are wealthy, and there are people that have not a dime to their name. And so how do I write one book for all these individuals? How do I write it in a way that it doesn't dismiss those who are in poverty? Because I'll be honest, as I was writing it, I have had a friend who was living in a garage very close to me. And I'm like, how do I word this in a way that doesn't seem to dismiss him? But I also have friends who are doing very well in life. How do I write this in a way that meets them where they are? And for me, it comes down to a core, not a prescriptive, all right, this is what it means for God to provide, or this is what you need to do, but gets down to the heart of it. What is it that we are actually believing? What is it that is actually driving us? How can we contend with our own motives, our own fears, our own desires first, to then step forward out of that? Because the honest truth is, there are so many things that guide us. And so the book was honestly more me processing through, because when I wrote it, I was in the midst of a place where I still am. For the last 7.5 years, I have been full-time volunteer ministry. Haven't gotten a traditional paycheck in that whole time. Haven't gotten a traditional paycheck since 2018. And what I wrote in this book was based off a lot of what I've experienced in life of, all right, God, I feel like you've invited me to ministry, but how am I going to pay this bill? And in that time, we've never missed a mortgage payment. We've never missed a bill. But a lot of that was done through very creative, unexpected ways. Some of it was done through people coming alongside us. Go ahead.
And also, are you saying that sentence for the sake of any IRS agents that may be listening? I'm just, because you're being clear. I haven't received a traditional paycheck, so it's not. I mean, it's.
I
will talk about my side hustle, and
I have a similar experience. Like, I haven't had a traditional paycheck since 2019. But that doesn't mean I'm not getting money from places.
Yeah.
Obviously, I am from some.
Yeah, yeah, and so the wording of it is, for most people, the way you get income is you have to get a job, or you have to have another source like a wealthy family member, or you get lucky and you win the lottery.
Where do you get those? Where are they available?
Where?
How do you, wealthy family members. How do you get one of those?
Is there a website where you can just sign up to be a second cousin? Right.
Hold on. Little he's married to like a descendant of Charlemagne or something.
But she did not inherit any of the jewels or the titles. As a matter of fact, if she went over to France right now and says, I'd like to reclaim my my inheritance that was from my great grandfather or whatever it is, Charlemagne, she might be arrested, because it's like, how how many kids Charlemagne had and owes and child support.
All right, we can continue. He has wealthy relatives. We know that. Go ahead.
But so for me, part of the reason I word it like that is that it hasn't been the traditional job. You get your weekly, bi-weekly check. And instead, some of it has come through what you would call like ministry support. But I'll be honest with you, there hasn't been a year in which the support from friends and family has been enough to meet the need. That need then has been, sometimes it's unexpected gifts. Sometimes it's kind of almost like God's doing like an in-kind thing. So in that time frame, there's been $100,000 worth of work that's been done to our old, like 120-year-old house that we really didn't have to pay a dime for 99.9% of it. Unexpected ways that God has brought about provision. And then sometimes I can't explain it. Like there are some things I'm like, I don't know. I see the numbers. I don't know how this added up.
I totally feel and hear what you're saying, because I'm in this position, but the fear doesn't go away. The idea of having faith in that, yes, it worked yesterday, but will it work tomorrow? Are things going to be okay tomorrow? And especially as I'm getting older and thinking, my days are numbered. What's going to happen if I died today? What would happen to my wife and my family? And I think about that all the time. And how do I continue to provide for them so that fear doesn't go away? And I would love to have the faith that you have that tomorrow, because it worked out yesterday, it will also work out tomorrow.
Well, that's real, because I think we get this idea that fear is wrong and bad. I'm starting to realize like fear is normal. Fear isn't. It's not fear that's the problem. It's how much power do we give that fear over us?
I give it too much.
One of my favorite things in scripture is the times where it says "fear not" to somebody, but the precipitating thing is there's something very frightening happening. Like, this angelic shining angel appears out of nowhere. Like, we don't be afraid of some supernatural being just like there is a legitimate reason to be afraid, and then this thing casually says, "Oh, fear not, don't be afraid."
And the first thing I'm says, "It's too late. I just pissed my pants."
right. I mean, most of the reactions of the people in that place is like they're falling down. There's like, I'm as good as dead. It's it. I can't. And so it's this invitation to say, yes, there are legitimate reasons to be afraid, but fear does not actually have to have power over you. Now, that's a nice thing to say, but to your point, how do we actually live that out? And I'm going to be honest with you. Everything I just explained about God providing in my life, I stand by, but 2025, whew, it really tested me. I mean, most of us experienced expenses going up. I experienced new expenses. Somebody like middle of the night totaled our van. We had to get a new vehicle. Now we have a new car payment. We didn't have one before because it was paid off. Like all these things. And I've had plenty of moments where I'm like, all right, God, for many, many years, you were showing up and we didn't have to worry at all. But now I'm looking at these rising expenses. I'm looking at our depleting bank account. Are you still gonna show up? And so I think part of the answer is we keep waking up and keep stepping forward, being honest about the fear, and choosing to believe that this isn't the end, that there is another step forward. But man, oh man, there are days where it is hard to step into that, particularly for me, when it feels like God's being particularly quiet, where he's not telling me, oh no, here's what's going to happen. Or don't worry, I got you. The sparrows, they don't worry. So why should you? Like, there are times where I'm like praying.
That's not true. The birds, they might not understand what worry is, but those animals out there, I spend a lot of time out in nature on a daily, because that's where I find my peace of mind, as out there with that nature. Mm-hmm. They work their little asses off. Okay,
they're working hard.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way I could build a nest just with my mouth like they do. No, and have it last. Have it survive a storm.
They are. I can say from experience, they understand when somebody has done it for. We have 3 cat houses on the steps and 1 to the side of the steps, and they all live in there. The chickens know where to come to get easy food. They every day. The deer are here every day. They quickly adapt to laziness like humans do. They're falling into what's easy.
I have like tons of blue jays that don't even belong in my neighborhood. I know these blue jays. I see them grab the food and they fly off like 400 or 500 feet away. And I said, wait a second, my property ended with that tree there. You're stealing my food. But that's beside the point. But the point I'm trying to make is that
we forgot what the point was.
Yeah, even though. Yeah. Even though they know how to be, they're opportunists. They'll take advantage of the easily available food. They were surviving way before I got here. Mm-hmm. The ones that are under, and they'll be surviving when I'm gone, except for the 7-year lifespan that they have. Mm-hmm. But same with the insects and all the other critters. Yeah. If I don't feed them, they're still going to eat. Yeah, because they work very, very hard at survival.
Well, I pulled up the verse, so I was like, what does it say exactly? Matthew 6, 26. Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? And as we're talking, I think it ties back to this fear piece, because what he's saying in this verse seems to be, they don't have giant storehouses that they're getting all their extra grain and they're making sure that they're set for a long span of time. Whereas with people, there's plenty of scriptures that talk about people doing that. All right, yeah, right. Sure, God's provider, but just in case he doesn't, I'm going to store up all this extra stuff. There's one that says there's a guy who does that and he has more than he needs, but he goes ahead and keeps even more of it just in case, and then he dies the next day. It was like, what worth was that? Meanwhile, people are around him starving. So for me, part of this ties into, it's less talking about the birds and more pointing out how the people are responding. You're responding so much out of fear that you are storing up more than you need out of fear. Meanwhile, there are people that need something around you. So it goes back to what you said about the homeless. I mean, there's plenty of money and food in our nation that nobody needs to be in as dire situations. But there also is a lot of greed in our nation.
Yeah, but people didn't always have silos for grain. That's not, they learned from experience that, whoa, there are times when we're not going to have any grain. Yeah. We should find some way to store it. And I'm going to be pretty sure in the beginning they used to mold and they're like, okay, we got to dry it first. It wasn't something
trial and error.
Right. It wasn't like some guy comes on and goes, I've got these silos for sale, for sale. And they go, what's a silo? Says, I'm yours. One day they're like, oh crap, we don't have anything and we're starving, and somebody else comes along. I've watched these squirrels. Squirrels have like stored up.
Oh yeah, they store it up.
Which he's bringing, getting to a point that I'm not sure he had any idea that I wanted to ask about, but is
nice.
Did God curse us with a brain? Because if we think about these things, the animals aren't necessarily thinking in cognitive terms like that, and it feels like a brain is a curse. It's a terrible burden to carry inside your ears.
It's not the brain. It's not the brain. It's the knowledge. God warned us about the tree of good and not the tree of knowledge. He didn't say don't use your brain. He says, don't get too much knowledge. You'll fuck yourself up. I'm telling you. I know.
Well, because I think this is all legit. Like when you were talking about the squirrels, I was thinking about that too. And there are birds that do store up. I don't know which ones, but I feel like there are birds that do that.
Oh, yeah, they are.
And scripture talks about silos in positive ways sometimes. When Joseph went from really rough situation to becoming second in command, and God had given them a heads up there was going to be a famine, part of the process was storing up the grain. So it's not that saving is bad. Right. And this goes back to the question about the book.
Ecclesiastes says there's a time for everything under the sun. A time to reap, a time to sow, a time to store, a time to have Paul on your show so you can talk about Ecclesiastes. It's all those things. It's in there.
You got to find those moments. Yeah. And so when I was talking about writing the book, one of the interesting things is some people take a passage like Jesus talking to the guy who's wealthy, and he says, sell everything and make it prescriptive, and then say, it is wrong for anyone to have wealth. Well, that's not actually what scripture was saying, because there are wealthy people that supported Jesus. And so the question then goes back to this heart of why. Why are we storing up? Is it because we're being mindful, or is it because we're being fearful? And where we get tripped up is what you're tapping into, how we are using our brain. And before that tree of the knowledge of good and evil, all they knew was God and his invitation to them. And they just lived in that, and it worked. But then when they knew more things, when they realized more things, they started thinking about, and they realized, oh, well, I don't actually, if I do this, then I don't need to rely on God. I could do my own thing. Or, oh, what if God doesn't show up? They start processing these things in ways that lead them down paths. It's like anxiety. Anxiety takes us down paths that majority of them we're never going to go down, but we'll start going down them because of how our brains work. And that's why I love Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 hits it this very well. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him and he will set your path straight. It's that middle bit. Do not lean on your own understanding. It is not saying that our own understanding is bad. God gave us that gift. God gave us the ability to process and think through things. But our problem is we lean on it a little too hard sometimes. And it goes back to what I said before. That's fine when we're right. But what about the times where we think we're right, but we're wrong or we're misaligned?
Educational moment.
Yeah.
So the book God Won't Provide, The Lie We Don't Believe We Are Believing, is the first book that I need to read. But from what I'm gathering, it's not going to alleviate my fear that I live with every day.
It's not going to give you the 10 steps to, but hopefully it'll help you think through some things in a different way.
All right. Well, I'll never get through all these books, but I want to talk about some more of them. Prayers for Your Enemy. This is where I'm at right now. Yeah. I understand that that's what we should be doing. Mm-hmm. But knowing that is, the way to go is not the same as being able to just really forgive so easily, so quickly, the trespasses against me, and there have been quite a few in the last few years, and getting to that point where you can actually in the moment pray for those people who are working hard against you. That's a hard thing to ask people to do. And why are the assignments so hard?
Yeah. When people see that verse, again, it's one of those things that on Sunday we can be like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, whew, yeah, I'm gonna love my enemy. But when it's not a hypothetical, you actually have somebody coming against you.
Yeah,
there's no desire to do that. And if you pray for them, if you love them, it might not fix the situation. They may actually come against you harder, because the guy who said it, that was his experience. He was loving his enemies, and then they beat him, persecuted him, and threw him up on a cross and killed him. And his response to that was telling his father, forgive them, because they do not understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's a wild thing. And what I love about it is what Jesus is indicating there is a deeper understanding of people and reality. Because on a level, they understood what they were doing. They had a job and they were undertaking their job to kill this guy. Right. Some of them took it a little too far, started mocking him. They didn't need, that wasn't part of their job description, but they went in on it. They might have whipped him harder than they needed to, or more than they needed to. But what Jesus
they were ICE agents. So they were ICE agents, is what you're saying.
Yeah, getting into it. But yeah, I mean, it's the thing is like, that's what we look at now, and we're seeing that same kind of thing. There are people that look at ICE agents and see a cruelness, unjustifiedness, and then if someone tells them to love them, to pray for them, oh man, that not only feels like too much of an ask, but an irresponsible, dangerous thing.
Yeah.
And so what Jesus knew that it's hard for us to see is that there's this bigger reality happening. So one, those guys, even though they knew what they were doing on a practical level, they didn't realize on a spiritual, eternal level what was happening. I mean, Jesus knew that he had to die because there was something greater, that they were a part of that death. So he invited a forgiveness because they were really just kind of, in a way, like pawns in this bigger game being moved and weren't fully aware. But this other piece is, my kids right now are going through some stuff.
How old are they?
I've got two. One of them's almost 13. One's 10. One's almost 7. So the older two are entering that puberty age.
They're going through stuff. They're about to put you through some stuff.
Yep. Well,
there's plenty of stuff to go around.
And that age range, that pre-puberty, puberty, like when you get the hormones going on, and so they're dealing with some stuff at school. And so this book actually, we pulled it out because we realized there are some situations they're going through that are unfair, ways that they're being treated. And what I know experientially, because I've been through some stuff with people, is that we really hope if you do the right thing, if you're kind to people, that people will return it. But sometimes people just keep on doing the wrong thing. People keep on hurting. People keep on being unjust. And I'm realizing as a father, I need to think through, how do I equip my kids for the scenario in which these situations at school don't get fixed, even if they are doing the most loving things. And I pulled out this book because part of purpose of this book is not fixing the situation, but getting us to a place where we can thrive even if the situation gets worse. Because we know that's we see it in our world right now. Sometimes things don't get better. Sometimes things get worse. So how do we thrive in that space? And forgiveness, one of the beautiful things about it is it confronts the reality of unforgiveness. Unforgiveness sometimes does more against us than it does against the other person.
Yeah.
We don't want to offer forgiveness because they don't deserve it. But what we're doing is we're keeping ourselves in this place, this draining, this painful place, and it's not benefiting us at all.
Yeah.
So this is beauty. Go ahead.
One of the things I struggle with is timing. I believe in forgiveness, but I think if you don't allow yourself the space to be angry and feel resentful, if you don't allow yourself that space, then if you just come out with pray for my enemies, or I pray for somebody who did me wrong, you were just giving lip service to it because you haven't gone through it. It's almost like grieving. If you haven't felt that anger, really absorbed it to let it go, then you're just providing lip service. And I'm wondering if there's any value in providing lip service, like it helps us get to that place, even though we don't, not really, it's not connecting with our core at this point. We're just saying it. What's your take on that?
Well, it goes back to what I was saying earlier around our motives, our intentions, our drive, because I think you make a good point. I mean, there are people that are quick to forgive, but it's actually from an unhealthy place. It's from a place of deflection. Like it's just, okay, I forgive, it's fine. I'll let it go. It's done. But they're not actually dealing with things. And so it takes the form in a different way. Maybe it's not anger, but maybe it's numbing themselves, right? So I think that's piece of it, is understanding why we are or aren't forgiving. What's the deeper root of that really ultimately has nothing to do about the other person, even though it does. But then there is a process to it. So part of this book was written from my own experience of going through just a toxic work environment. And it was a ministry, so it shouldn't have been toxic, but a lot of ministries are toxic. And I was being profoundly mistreated. I ended up having my job taken from me unjustly. And God showed up in big ways there, gave me a heads up, gave me a lot of unexpected peace and joy in that moment. And in that space, I felt like I should forgive, and I forgave. And then a month or two later, I was angry, and it hit me out of nowhere. And I'm like, didn't I forgive them? Did I not forgive them correctly? Like, am I doing something wrong? But what was happening is what you described, is there was a process I needed to go through, things I needed to wrestle and contend with. And I ended up forgiving again, but in a very different way, addressing more of the internal thing. And part of the forgiveness was actually releasing them, directly to them, but also internally from my peace needing to be hinged to anything they did or didn't do. Does that make sense? It's like sometimes I feel like I cannot be happy, I cannot have peace until they make things right, until they own what they did. When I realized they may never own that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I had to get to that place. But man, the wrestling leading up to that was heavy, and that's okay. I think anger, it's the verse, there's a verse that says, in your anger do not sin. What that means then is anger itself is not the sin, is not the bad thing. It's, if we are unrestrained, we can let our anger control us into doing things we really don't need to do. But man, can we be angry sometimes? Absolutely. I'm angry plenty of times.
Yeah.
I know that my one of my philosophies is that I forgive, but I don't forget. Because I'm not, okay. Some people are just doing what's in their nature. Some people just do what's in their nature. Like I had two brothers. One was just a compulsive liar, and the other one was a compulsive bully. When I was growing up, that was very, very difficult to navigate. But once I learned that was their nature, I could forgive him for being a bully, but I'm not going to forget. So I'm not going to give him the opportunity to be a bully with me or the younger kids. I will protect them, or the one that was a compulsive liar. I will forgive him for lying before, but I'm not going to sit there and trust what he says ever again without, verifying it. So I forgive him, That's in the past. But I'd be damned if I'm going to forget it and let it happen to me again.
So you're basically, I mean, you're talking about setting boundaries, right? And that could be a really healthy thing, because the way you described it, you're not saying, you know, and I'm not gonna forget, and I'm gonna make him know that I'm not gonna forget. Like what you're describing is, no, I know his nature now. There has not been evidence that that is changing anytime soon. So I'm putting things in place to ensure that we do not end up in a very messy situation. And honestly, like boundaries can sometimes be an act of love to the other person.
Yeah.
Because if we enable somebody, then we're just setting a trap for them to do the thing that really they might not want to do. They may not know fully what they're doing. The brain can get really messed up sometimes and lead us into compulsions we wouldn't have chosen otherwise. And so boundaries can allow us to love somebody. But again, the key is always coming back to, all right, why am I doing this? Why is this driving me? Is it out of fear or anger? And if it is, how do I contend with that so that fear and anger don't have the keys and the wheel to the vehicle, even if they're sitting in the passenger seat and yelling?
Yeah. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we had John Fugelsang on, who's a comedian, actor, and radio and television personality, who is also very Christian, very deep in knowledge on the Bible. He grew up son of a Franciscan friar and a nun.
Former Franciscan friar, former nun.
Yeah,
it's not like they were practicing and they got to, no, they were
right.
Yeah.
They made a promise that that he would never happen, and then he happened. But we were talking about, because in his book, Separation of Church and Hate, he talks about Christians focusing too much on the miracles. It's a very long way of getting to a question here, but I watch a lot of atheist versus Christian debates, and I feel like nobody ever goes to brings up to an atheist, you don't believe in the miracles, that's fine, but can we agree that the teachings of Jesus, whether you believe he was a real person or not, whoever came up with these, if they fictionalized him, whatever it is, the teachings are gold. Can we agree on that? Nobody ever goes there. I think we focus too much on the idea of the miracles. Here's where I'm getting to a question for you, because the miracles if you believe in magic, you can sometimes feel like a fool for believing in magic and miracles. And one of the books, the next book that I wanted to talk about, is Encouragement for the Foolish Christian, Volume 1, Becoming God's People. This idea of whenever it gets into the miracles, then you feel kind of, you can feel kind of dumb for believing in that part. And I feel like if we could just leave that out of the conversation and just focus on the teachings of how we're supposed to be to each other as human beings, I think we'd all there would be no argument between atheists and theists at all. What's the meaning behind your writing, Encouragement for Foolish Christians?
Yeah, you make a good point, because in those debates, a lot of times the misstep that Christians make in that is they go in trying to prove something that's unprovable. Right.
Right.
I mean, the scripture says the wisdom of God is foolishness to man. So like, why are you thinking that you can go in there with just logic and say, well, here's proof that this miracle happened?
But that statement also applies to crazy people.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to try to have a logical conversation with a crazy person. You're almost saying, well, God is crazy. You're never going to understand, because let's say God don't think like us. He's crazy.
Yeah. He has a conversation with a crazy person every morning.
Well, and so this is the interesting thing then is, so part of the reason I wrote this book is because I was having a conversation with a friend who had been leading a ministry for mothers who found themselves in a hard situation and couldn't take care of their kids, wanted to love their kids, but just didn't know what to do. And this ministry comes alongside them, helps the mothers make sure the kids are in a safe space until they can be reunited. It's beautiful thing, hard work. And the ways that they were navigating it, they were trying to be more prayer and spirit led than just logical, because logical would say, well, let's scale this up. But they're like, no, actually, the point of this is not to be this big entity. It's the mothers. If we lose sight of the mothers, then we're losing sight of why we're doing this. And so often she found herself feeling foolish because people didn't understand why they were doing what they're doing, why they were doing this hard work. And And so we were encouraging each other because we both felt like we were in foolish places as we were trying to love God and love others. And as I was thinking about it, I realized, man, we look at these stories in the Old Testament and we only talk about the miracle piece. So Noah and the flood and the miracle of all God telling him to build a boat and he survived and all that. But I realized there's a story preceding that miracle where he was spending years, decades even, doing this really ridiculously foolish thing. I mean, building a boat in a desert. I mean, people were coming at him and mocking him and taunting him. He's doing this hard work. And then he's like, did I really hear God? Because what am I doing building a big boat? And where is this going? And so what the book does is it fictionalizes these accounts. I try to get in the mind of these different individuals and think, what was this experience like for them? What was that hard season like? What was it like before the miracle? And how did they navigate it? What did they do? How did they contend with feeling foolish, but believing, at least a small part of them, that there is something real that they are stepping towards? And then it follows each of those fictionalized accounts with my own processing, because you're right. Like, if we just jumped to the supernatural and miss the very real human element, we're going to miss probably the most important part. Jesus even said, people came to him and said, hey, look, just do this big miracle and we'll believe you. And he's like, I've been doing miracles. Like,
Right.
I could do the greatest miracles. You're not going to believe me, because it's not about that. Just seeing something big isn't going to change the narrative in your mind. There is something internal that needs to happen. And man, we are all trying to answer these big questions of life. And there is so much, and like you noted, in Jesus's teachings that touch on those small little areas that it seems like no one else notices. And so I'm with you. There's so much about life that does not make sense, that seems foolish.
Yeah, and I think we get caught up in trying to convince other people about the miracles rather than just say, do unto others. Can we agree on that? That seems like a no-brainer. So if we can't we can't agree to treat each other with respect and I'll treat you like I want to be treated and you treat me like you want to be treated, we can't agree on that, then the miracles don't matter at all anyway. None of that stuff matters at all. Let's get down to what the teachings were and how we're supposed to treat each other, rather than get caught up in, how the world was created and literal, and I don't want to put down anybody who believes word for word every part of, but it doesn't make sense that we should argue over that.
And if you're leaning onto those things but not living out the greater things, that's what Jesus talked about too. He's like talking to the Pharisees and teachers of the law, like, y'all know the scripture, but you're not living it. You're saying and quoting all these things, but there are people that are hurting, that you're leading astray. I talked earlier about humble introspection and, 20% wrong. And one of the things that gives me peace ties to what you said. If in the end, I find out I was wrong about God, wrong about most of what I said, like I'm holding and living into now, what gives me peace is it's leading me to love others. And if at the end I was wrong about it, but I loved others, if in the end there is no God and I spent my life loving my neighbor, I'm cool with that. Right? I would rather lean into that than lean into something that harms others and find out I was wrong.
And see, now I kind of agree with you. In a sense that like 40 years ago, I came to the conclusion that even if everything that I've learned about the Bible and everything was bullshit, I'm still going to believe in doing the right thing and believing that that my actions can make a difference. So that became like my gospel, that my actions can make a difference and I can make a better world, even if there is no God to support me. But the thing that the regret I have is that there literally are some decisions or some pleasures I did not partake in simply because there might be a God.
And FOMO, it's like, you're missing out.
Right. There's some things I really would have done differently.
Yeah.
But at that point, my faith in God, because at that point I was literally trying to do what I thought was, what would God have me do?
Right.
But if there were no God, there were some things I would have done differently. I'm just saying.
That's fair.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think,
and I want a mulligan for those things.
You hear me, God?
I want a do-over.
In what you said before, I think you started out with what gives me peace. And
Mhm.
I think that's what we really all strive for, is this idea of peace. And I don't think it can come while we're still alive. This idea of we're always going to be in some sense not finding peace, because there's always something left to do, and there can be no peace until everything is right. I mean, we strive for peace, but peace is
It
such
then
an
depends on
elusive
how you
thing.
define peace. At that point, it depends on how you define peace.
And how you define right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a big part of me, and I want to get to one more book while we have some time here. It's How Long, Lord, a week-long devotional for the long suffering. Because I'll be honest with you, there's at least 3 times every day when I just say, just take me or send me to hell, take me to heaven, send me to hell, whatever. Just end this nonsense of where I'm feeling conflicted all day long, and sometimes angry, sometimes fearful, sometimes all these negative emotions that I go through every single day. And a big part of it is information overload with the world we live in. I get that. But just striving for that peace and this existence. I didn't sign up for this. You pushed me into it. Here I am, 66 years. I'm just saying, when is enough? So that's striving for peace. Tell me about the book, How Long, Lord?
Yeah. So some of these books weren't ones that were on my radar to write, and were thrust upon me. And this one was one of them, because, man, 2025 was a very hard year for me. And coming into, I guess I wrote this one in November. I was just struggling. I did not understand what God was doing. There's a lot of moments that I needed him to show up, and it seemed like he didn't. A lot of things that I asked for, and it seemed like he did the opposite. And I'm like, what's going on? And I really resonated with this book is based on Psalm 13, and it's a 7-day devotional that takes it one verse at a time. And so the passage, for those that don't know it, it's a really interesting one. It's a Psalm of David. So David is described as a man after God's own heart. You know, he killed Goliath, he became king, all these great things. And so it seems odd that he would say something like this: how long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me? Look on me and answer, Lord, my God. Give light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death, and my enemy will say, I have overcome him, and my foes will rejoice when I fall. Like, that's a deep and heavy place for someone who supposedly understands God, has a line in with God. And he closes saying, but I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise for me, for he has been good to me. And I sat with this passage, one, because I resonated with a lot of those words. I had many times where I wrestled with my thoughts. I couldn't sleep because I'm wrestling, I'm ruminating. And then that day after day have sorrow in my heart. Yep. Like, I was feeling that. And so if even the David of Scripture, the man after God's own heart, the man who is celebrated by many faiths, if he sat in this place and somehow got to a place where he was resolved to still trust God, to still sing the Lord's praise, what can I learn from him in my season? And so this book was really not even, most of my books are not ones where I'm like, I'm the expert and let me tell you what I learned. A lot of these things are me like, I don't know what to do here. So I'm going to process through writing and invite people into my vulnerability, because I know there's probably others who are sitting in this space as well.
Yeah. A lot of times I feel guilty for my lack of belief, for my doubts, because if anybody should be a believer, it should be me. I've been saved from tragedy and just the worst kind of situations in my life more times than I can count. And yet I still come back to a place of doubt. And it's like, well, if anybody should be a believer, it should be you. Why can't you accept and just have faith and be at peace when my life has been an example of being saved by unknown forces, one after another. It's just like all these tragedies put themselves in front of me. Somehow I overcome that, and at the moment I give thanks to God, and then I forget it, and then I say, well, I don't really believe in that. It's like, how do you not believe in it after you've been experienced it so many times? And I feel guilty about that. But it's the rationality, and I come back to feeling cursed with this brain and thinking about things.
Yeah. Well, and the good news is, you said it earlier, we're not going to have true full peace until eternity, right?
Until you rest in peace.
Because there is, Jesus says, in this world you will have trouble, right? There is this, he also says, and I leave you my peace. But what we wrestle with is like that, how does that work out amidst the brokenness, amidst the hardship? And the encouragement for me in what you said is that this God in his wisdom decided to leave this passage in scripture, right? Because this does not have a good look. I mean, those first 5 verses are not good look, first 4 verses. But what it says to me, and what many stories in scripture says to me, is that God is aware that we are going to hit that place, that we are going to struggle and doubt. When he parted the Jordan River and Joshua and all the people walked across it, you would think that they would have that same response as you noted, like, I'm never going to forget this. Like, I'm going to believe in God forever. But what God knew is, nah, they're going to forget, they're going to doubt, they're going to struggle. So he said, hold on, before y'all go, grab some stones from the middle, the very middle, and then set up an Ebenezer, set up this tower of stones so that you will remember this and that your children's children remember it. God is well aware that as good as our brains can be, they can be junk sometimes, or we can rework things or remember things. God has set things in place, understanding that we will struggle. And he's saying, it's okay. And I'm still with you. So let's keep going. And the good part is when we get to the end of that and we realize, oh, wow, yeah, okay, I did make it through. I don't know how I did, but I made it through. The hard part is when you are sitting in the darkness still, sitting in the pit still. And what I've learned is sometimes all you can do is take your next step forward. Like I'm thinking, I don't know if y'all seen Frozen 2. I got young kids, so I've seen it like too many times. But there's this this really powerful moment where Princess Anna is in this cave and everything's lost. She's lost her sister. She's lost Olaf. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Frozen 2. But she doesn't want to go on. She doesn't even know how to go on. But she sings this song about doing the next best thing, the next right thing. And it's a timid step and then a bigger step and then a jump. And I think that's the reality of life for us, whether someone believes in God or not. Sometimes all we can do is make the choice to not give up. And if all that looks like is a toe nudge forward, that's significant. That's powerful. That's amazing. And that'd be my encouragement for anyone listening. If you're listening, that means you haven't given up yet. So there's a power and strength in that. So if you got nothing left.
What do you lock up?
Yeah, when he said
that's
you got nothing left, he stopped.
Perfect place to lock up. If you got nothing left,
you're
screwed. And that's the point where, because I know, and I don't even want to say this word because YouTube will frown upon it and then demonetize me just for saying the word. But people who do give up and think if God is not going to take me, if it's not time, I'm gonna take it into my own hands and just end this suffering now. And that's when people give up, and it's hard. I think the thing is forgetfulness, and GD was talking about. I forgive, but I don't forget. In our own life, we tend to forget. We've been through worse than this a lot of times. We forget that, you know what, I made it through worse than this. It feels terrible right now. It feels like the world has come to an end. But if I really think about it, I've been through much worse than this. And this is a hard lesson for me to learn because I have been through some really tough experiences to recall. This isn't the worst day of your life. Stop over dramatizing it. I think, again, it all comes down to a brain. I wish sometimes could just stop the thoughts and just, that's where peace would be. I wouldn't want to be a peaceful idiot.
I don't think this is one of my wife and I have these discussions from time to time. Like she says, things are so bad. She'll say, I've never seen things so bad. And I said, well, I've seen worse. And what bothers me is when I see other people going through it even harder.
Right.
That's what bothers me. And the fact that the people that are supposed to be setting things and making things better for everyone are literally making it so it's worse for everybody. When by people, I mean Trump and friends. I don't want to leave anything to chance. And these are my words, not the guest. These are my words. Do not write him letters about me saying something.
Yeah, but you can leave comments on the YouTube short that this will be cut into. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, because the sheer fact that half those people that are ice guards, whatever they are, those people, they're doing what they're doing because, first of all, Trump says you have immunity. And it's like, well, it's like saying the worst people who have the worst instincts can do whatever they want and they'll be forgiven and paid. You know, you're creating these monsters and they're making it worse for. There was a citizen, a naturalized citizen, an elderly man dragged out in his underwear. They broke in his door, dragged him out
in my underwear.
Dragged him out into the street, and it's like 20 degrees outside, and he's in his underwear. Oh, and they were nice enough to throw a blanket over his shoulder. You know, meantime, they broke the door down. So the house, the heating is now, he's not heating the neighborhood. He's just making it worse. That this man up there is making it worse for everybody. And that's what I really get enraged. It's not so much as the suffering that I can take, because I've been through a lot, I've seen a lot, and I've survived, and I'll survive until I don't. But there are people out there who are getting even worse, and they're not asking for it. That's what's getting my goat. That's what.
Yeah.
And the really sad thing is, it's just,
and my God would have done something about it by now. I'm just saying.
And what's really heartbreaking is, you know, like I said earlier, this isn't an isolated thing. Like, it's heartbreaking how much a part of human reality this kind of brokenness is. Because as you were talking, it made me think about how a lot of the stuff we read in Scripture, the New Testament in particular, but there you can make a case for other spaces. There is still this brokenness in humanity. I mean, there were armed men kicking down the doors of Christians during Acts and dragging them out and killing them, led by this guy named Saul, who later got knocked off his feet and showed what was what. Christians, it always kind of makes me feel a certain way when I hear Christians in America saying they're being persecuted, because I was like, you do realize the Bible you read, you know, there's Christians in the early days who were martyred, like in brutal ways, who were set up on pikes, fed to lions, like
burned alive.
There's a whole other level.
Nailed to stakes.
And
they have no idea.
They had this resolve of that, you know, that verse 5 and 6 of Psalm 13, like David, of still trusting and serving God and loving God and singing and praising God. Like that's a very different thing than like, oh, like, I don't like how this person's talking to me, right? And so, you know,
this gay person wants a cake.
No,
I'm being persecuted because this gay person wants a cake. And so, like, no, you're being persecuted when a gay person puts you on a stake and burns you.
And so it's wild that, as smart as we think we are, we struggle with understanding hardship, and we struggle with understanding injustice, and we struggle with knowing what to do with it. So when it gets to places like what you described, where there are injustices happening, we as people struggle to know how to deal with it. And honestly, a lot of times it's because of where we're given the keys. We're given the keys to fear. We're given the keys to self-preservation or to pride. And it goes back to what you said earlier about what if we just held to what Jesus said, which was this call to love. I mean, that was the core. He made it emphatically clear. I'll sum up the commandments for you. Love God, love others. I've loved you, now love as I've loved. Man, if we let that have the keys to the car, you know, whether someone believes in God or not, if we let love, not just feeling love, but actually putting someone ahead of us, have the keys to the car, this world would look different.
Did you say let Jesus take the wheel?
Let Jesus take the wheel.
I handed it off too quick, I think. Sorry about that. Well, the chat room, you heard it here first. Send GD a cake. He needs a cake. That's what I heard.
I'm diabetic. Don't send me a cake.
Hey, you wanted a cake? I could have sworn
I love cake, and my wife knows I have.
All right.
Very,
one
very little
more
willpower.
book I want to talk about before we let Paul go. And this one, listen, I could choose a lot of them, but the one I'm going to choose is called "How to Be Unsuccessful in Podcasting," because I feel like I could have written this book.
Yeah.
Why did, and of all these books that are based on God and belief and faith, and why that book?
Yeah. So my invitation from God, I feel like, is to create authentic, accessible space to process. And my faith and joy is a big piece of that. But I don't want to just only write overtly Christian things. And so there's a few books in there that are not overtly Christian. And this is the most overtly not. It's not anti-Christian, but it's, I've been podcasting since 2018. And I am just a very unconventional podcaster in that I know all the stuff I'm supposed to do and I'm not doing it, right? Because you're supposed to monetize, you're supposed to have a schedule, you're supposed to do all this kind of stuff, you're supposed to do the SEO, you're supposed to blah, 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 blah. And the reason I'm not doing it is from the start, I knew that the reason that I was being invited to do that podcast was not to make a name for myself, to not make money for myself. If that happened, great, sure, yeah. But it was to create that space. And I also knew that if only one person was impacted by it, it would be worth the hours of work that went into it. I'm in a position because I'm full-time volunteer ministry that I can do that. But it doesn't mean it makes it easy because I still see the numbers. I still hear the silence. I still, like you said at the very start of all this, I'll write a book and be like, did anybody read it? And so what I've been wrestling with is I'm being told all these ways to define success in podcasting. And I know that's not what I'm supposed to be chasing after. So what is success? And what I realized is actually success for me was to be unsuccessful. Because as long as I was pursuing traditional success, I was actually failing at the core reason that I was called to create the podcast. Because the moment I start making money the issue, money the goal, I'm going to treat my guests differently. I'm going to treat my listeners differently. Now, I will say this caveat. Am I saying that everybody that pursues money in podcasting is wrong? No, I am not. Because it's that thread that's been weaving throughout all this. It's all about motives and intentions and drive. And there can be good reasons to do that. If that is somebody's source of income and they have a piece around that, then yeah, by all means, do the traditional methods. But for those that know that they are doing this for a different reason, if you start chasing after the wrong thing, you're not going to land anywhere good. You may stumble into some luck, but there'd be some internal tension.
I totally agree, and what you just said has given me a slight degree of peace. And this is the reward for having you on this morning. Is that I started this podcast to try to encourage people to kind of find things that they were interested in, learn about them, have important, deep conversations rather than just this nastiness that we see on social media and one line at a time, to have some deep conversations. The purpose behind it is the most important thing. There is a financial reality of paying the bills for everything and keep it going. And I think a lot of times we get caught up for podcasters. Myself, I know this is true, is trying to do everything yourself and not having somebody who is thinking about how do we keep it going? How do we keep the lights on? How do we keep how do we pay all the bills for it? Because it does get it becomes an expensive hobby. But I'm constantly looking for validation and reassurance. Like, how do I know that anybody's reading my books? How do I know that I'm affecting one life out there? And when I see that can give me, when somebody validates, and yes, thank you very much for this message, I really needed to hear that today, that will keep me going for a month or so. That will fuel me. But there's a big part of that where I struggle with that, because I've been looking for business partners, people to take on the business. I'm not sure if that will, and I to your point, not sure if that will change the way I treat this, because at the end of the day, it was all about believing in my mind that this is my purpose. This is why I was born, was to sit in front of a microphone and encourage people to have deeper conversations than just they had the Mets do today. Well, they suck. They sucked yesterday. They'll suck again tomorrow. So I feel you there on how do you measure success on this. I think unsuccessful in terms of, I don't want to be Joe Rogan. I don't want to get $20 million a year for this. I think at that point I would become a philanthropist and just benevolent, just like feeding the poor and all that stuff. But I do strive to kind of make it self-sustainable, and would love to make it into a real business mindset. And trying to do it all myself just does not work. So.
Yeah, the core of all of this is really being honest with ourselves, doing that humble introspection to know what actually has value, what actually gives us purpose, what actually speaks into our true identity. And so this message, sure, podcasters, but it's for anybody, because we're all wrestling with this in life. One of the stories that I tell in it is that classic trope of the man who worked 80-hour weeks and rose the corporate ladder and got on the money because he wanted to make sure that he had enough money for his family. And then he's on his deathbed and his family's around him. And he's looking around and he's like, I don't even know these kids, because I didn't spend any time with them. And he realized, man, I wish I had prioritized time with them rather than getting money for them, right? It's that classic trope we've seen around, but it hits at that core of we can have an idea of what's important, what gives us purpose and identity, what's valuable. When we are misaligned on that, that's when we find dissatisfaction. That's when we find a lack of peace.
On the bright side, the guy can look back at the kids and he can imagine them being much nicer than they actually are. Okay, he doesn't know that's that kid there.
He didn't go through those puberty years,
right? He was like, I missed it. He missed all that, and so to him, he's like, I was not there for my wonderful kids. Meanwhile, two of them are little SOBs that fight and they just can't wait for the man to die so they can get their hands on the money. And the other one is just like, I'm as soon as he dies, I'm spending my money on booze and liquor. No, booze and liquor, on booze and cars, because he has this at least he dies with this wonderful idea of the kids instead of getting to know them for who they are. And he can go, I'm sorry to spend more time with you.
You're hitting at something really important there, because this is the danger of hypotheticals, right? Because sometimes we can get caught up in hypotheticals as though everything's bad, it'll never get better. Sometimes we could do what you're saying is we think, that if it had been, if I had done it this way, it would have been better. The grass is greener. And that could be just as dangerous. There is a reality that there is no perfect scenario. So our goal should not be to find the perfect.
Like in Star Trek with Captain Kirk, it's like that unwinnable scenario. So he cheated.
I never watched the second of Star Trek. So
you never watched the second of Star Trek, and you get on me for not having watched The Godfather.
I didn't get on you. I just said you hated it because it dragged on too long, or the intro part of it.
No, before that, you got on me for not having seen it. That's true.
Yeah. This conversation, because I was a runaway and had been disconnected from my family for 8 years when I heard my father had a stroke, and I went back home and was with him during his dying period, and he was on his deathbed. And I remember very clearly, I was sitting on the end of the bed, and my father, Matthew. And I got close to him. I said, "Yeah, Dad, what is it?" And he said, "Get off the bed." So there's that. Paul, I thank you very much. Let me ask you about the podcast, and then we'll let you go. Now, where did you see God podcast? Do you have guests on there, or is it is it a self?
Well, I didn't even want to do a podcast, and so I really don't like it being me on the mic. So I love it it is guests 99% of the time. And it is that desire to create a space for people to process. So I'll tell guests, this is not about a podcast. This is not about an episode. That could be a byproduct, but this is you and I having an authentic conversation. And at
Right.
the end, I'll ask you, are you okay with this being made into a podcast? And if you say no, then that's all this is. Like, this is not about what I get out of you. This is about me creating a space for you. And all but one person has said yes. Let's make this into an episode. And so basically, it's just, as you noted, just real, genuine conversations with real people and just processing life. No agenda outside that. And it's not about promotion. It's not about me finding that good like little clip that I could put up. It's, let's just see where this conversation goes. And I've had everything from people who believe in God to people who identify as atheists, and talked about everything from miraculous healings to prayers not being answered and everything in between.
Where do they come from?
Oh man, all over. It started off, this is pre-pod match. You and I know about pod match, but when it was just, it's the people that I knew, and I was recording live and in person. And then when the pandemic hit, and I joined Podmatch, which is a podcast matching service, which has been amazing and phenomenal. It suddenly exploded. And so the majority of my guests are from all over the world that I connect with predominantly there. And yeah, it's beautiful because they're people that I never would have met or connected with otherwise. Deep conversations that never should have existed. And yet here we are joining on 2 mics. We may never see each other again, but we feel like we've had an authentic touch point.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. And I hope we do see each other again. I hope you will come back periodically, because there's a whole lot more books to talk about. And I'm intrigued by all of them. Obviously, it would take forever to read them. Yeah. One last question about all these books. They're all it seems like they're all available in audiobook. Did you do them yourself, the audiobooks yourself?
It is a dream of mine. I did one. So my kids and I did an audiobook for a book that my daughter and I wrote called Tori the Tornado, where my daughter illustrated it. And so it's very cute. The kids do different voices in it. And I learned through that process, one, that I can do it. And two, man, is it tedious to record an audiobook. So tedious. And so I do have plans. But in the meantime, I was really encouraged when Amazon released with AI and all that, the capacity with just a few button clicks to create an audiobook of it. So I did that for most of the books. Do I love it? No. But do I like having that option for those who prefer audio to reading? Yeah. So the dream is to go back and replace all those with my voice. But in the meantime, you get American Male number 3.
Do you go back and listen to the AI and hear where it got? Because I was listening to a thing on the Paul McCartney's writing of Hello, Goodbye, and the AI said, Hello, Goodbye is a song written by Paul.
I have gone through some of them to try to make sure it's saying it all accurately, and especially if I know there's certain words or phrases that'll get wrong. I've not yet had the time to do it, and that scares me because I'm like, I don't know how it be maybe using the wrong intonation for this sentence and getting the wrong point across.
Yeah,
but it's a danger. I've weighed the risks, but yeah, one day.
Yeah. All right. Well, please do make this a periodic. First of all, I have selfish reasons, because I think I did find some moment of peace in the message that you're delivering here. And so for me personally, I would appreciate to talk to you more and not just say goodbye, have a nice life. Yeah. I hope you do come back.
I'm game.
All right.
Game.
Well, thank you for being here. Please enjoy the rest of your day and your week and your year and all that kind of stuff. And thank you for being here. You've added a lot to this program, and I appreciate you very much.
Thank you both for creating the space. I appreciate it. This is fun. I enjoyed it.
Have a great day.
Goodbye. Have a nice life.
Hey, well, he'll be gone by the time you come back anyway. This is his last day here. I don't know if he's even aware of that.
Oh, no.
Anyway, have a great one. Thank you for being
here. Thank you.
Paul Granger, where did you see God? Over there. Great guest, right? Good conversation.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Tomorrow I have to get out of here really early because I have they changed my time at the senior center for performance tomorrow. So I have to kind of I got to be there by 12:30. It's an hour and a half ride. I'm not going to chance it and stay on till 11 tomorrow. I don't know. I was thinking of sleeping in, or even taking the day off. What are your thoughts? Do you?
Well, if you're going to take the day off, I mean, I can still do it. I can. Yeah. I just need to know for certain, so because I'll prepare differently. I'll prepare differently than if you're leaving early than if you're not going to be at all.
I'll make an executive decision. Watch this. I'm going to make it. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Would you sit down? Sit down. All right. I'm going to make an executive decision. Yeah, I'm going to sleep in late tomorrow and take the day off. Now, all I need from you at some point today, probably before Tony Walker goes and puts my dopey pictures from my Facebook up as our placeholder, is what you want me to put in the title and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. When do you need that by?
Before Tony does his thing, which could be, he generally does it around 5 or 6 p.m. Sometimes.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. I should have it ready by 1 or 2.
If he doesn't jump the gun, now he might have. I did not go to the party last night. I took when I RSVP'd. I thought you were going to the party. I misunderstood. You said you weren't going, but. So I told him I wouldn't. And yesterday I did what I typically do, is I become unreliable and say, I'm having my colonoscopy tonight or whatever. I made up a phony excuse and didn't go.
Yeah, somebody said they got shot.
Shot?
Yeah, somebody said I didn't make it. I got shot.
Oh,
yeah. Somebody wrote that. I feel kind of bad because, and this has nothing to do with anything you're saying about, but I'm making it all about me. Right now, there's a protest going on in Hagerstown, which is about an hour away from here. And I wanted to be there this morning to cover it live.
Protesting what?
They want to build, Trump wants to put an ICE deportation center, jail in Hagerstown. There's a warehouse there. It's like 1 million square foot warehouse or something. And Trump and them want to convert it to a prison. And they're out there protesting, saying, "No, you're not. We don't want you to do that."
You just put an illegal immigrant on a forklift and put him up on the top rail there, and then.
Well, do you think they give a shit what they do with them once they get them inside that building?
Yeah, no. Warehousing. Now, it's going to be damn cold in Hagerstown in a warehouse. That's not nice.
Oh yeah. Look, I used to work at a place that runs with Random House. And that warehouse had people in it, and it was a functional warehouse, not an abandoned warehouse. And it was cold as shit when we were all there working.
What silence is deafening?
It was earlier when you was talking about podcasting and nobody listening. If you have a podcast and nobody listening, I think that's what y'all was talking about at the time.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like my songs.
So
right, nobody listens to them either. Yeah. So so tomorrow it'll be not Myopic Mick. I think he's on vacation. I don't know, just whatever. It's coffee with GD. Which is almost backwards from dog if you just put an O in the middle of it.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Yeah. All right, so what else we got? We got anything else to talk about here today? We're just gonna send people on their way. But are you familiar?
That thing you texted me about Martin Luther King liking? Where did that come from? Is that something you wrote, or because it was written and signed DJT as if he put that on social media?
I can't do the Trump voice, but my friend Buzz Whelan, he said, "Did anybody hear Trump's acknowledging Martin Luther King Day?" And that was just off the top of my head in the moment. I'm going to read it for you. I'm not even going to try to do the Trump voice. It says, "The great black, my favorite black, actually, a black like nobody's ever seen before. He loved Trump, not like these leftist radical scum that we have today. I remember he said to me with tears in his eyes, he said, 'I know you're the only one who can save us from windmills.' And he was right. If you look at the progress my administration has made in just a year in almost eliminating windmills, it's progress like nobody's ever seen before. And we have a big, beautiful ballroom, and nobody talks about that. But Martin, he was a good black, a better than average black, much better than Obama, who was the second worst president of all time, and they gave him a Nobel Peace Prize." That was my imaginary.
Now, that's weird because the way I remembered it, I really thought that at one point you said And Martin Luther King said to me, "Sir," I really thought that was a part in there where, oh, I just didn't hear it just now then.
With tears in his eyes, he said, "Sir, I know you're the..."
Yeah, sir.
Yeah,
Okay,
the thing is, when Martin Luther King died when Trump was like 12 years old. No, he was older than that. Maybe he was in high school or something. But
Oh,
no,
I was 8. So
did you see who was it? The Prime Minister of Germany or something presented Trump with his grandfather's birth certificate. And Trump didn't know how to handle that because that's, it kind of points to, your grandfather, he was German and your father was an immigrant. That makes you an immigrant. And it kind
I think that is such a cool way to dig. That is such a, because it almost comes off as like, this is your father's birth certificate. It comes off like something he would never, Trump would never have that.
Right.
And so it comes off like as this great gift. Like, I would love to have my father's birth certificate.
Yeah.
So it comes off as a really cool gift, and at the same time, a really cool dig. Like, your father was a Nazi. A Nazi.
He was. What is this I'm getting? I don't know. Tony had his penis out last night.
He didn't really have his penis out. He took his leg off and was holding it like this. Actually, I have no idea. I wasn't there.
I was shot and decided to. Who was saying they was shot and decided?
I don't know. I just read the comment. I didn't look at the name. It was somebody named Nick somebody.
Yeah, Nick Greystone. I don't know who he is. You would think I would know all these people on the network. Well, I feel bad that I didn't go. I'm sure Tony's not. Nobody missed me there. Nobody cared that and they didn't even know I didn't.
There was probably like 100 people there or so.
Yeah.
No, I just couldn't. Like I said, it was. Now I probably go next year, I guess. But this year was just. Like I said, I found out about it with too little bit of time because I have responsibilities that if I'm not here to do, that I need to take care of a little bit. Take care of some things a little bit better. Like I may. It looks like I may have a gig in LA in February.
And you're going Josh DeWay? Is that who?
No. There's nothing to. Ron doesn't even know about this. This is someone else who actually they wanted me to come out and do a gig on February 14th. I said no way. I headlining, not just a gig, but be headlining. It's a me show. It's one of the things I do for the most part. So it's one of the shows that would drive Blind Mike crazy. 90 minutes of me.
Wow.
So they wanted me to do it on the 14th of February. I said, no, my wife would kill me. There's 2 days I can't fuck up. Valentine's Day and our anniversary. Those are 2 days I'm not allowed by law to fuck up. So it looks like the next week, which would be the 21st. But right now, it's just we're hashing things out. We're hashing all the arrangements and stuff like that out, the details.
When is it? Like what time? When is it? When?
It'll be February 21st if I do it. But I'll be flying out on the 20th, which means I'll be doing my show on the 19th, flying out on the 20th, performing on the 21st, flying back on the 22nd.
That's no good. That's no good.
I know. I need more time. I'll probably take more time because I want to be able to hang out with Dylan Brody and Ellen Katz while I'm out there.
Me too. Can you take me, but for free? And why don't you just drive? Let's just drive. Let's do.
I can't drive because it's like a 3-day drive,
right?
And I have a gig on the 19th.
You can move that gig. That's a plausible gig. You own that.
No, that's this gig. That's a live gig that I'm streaming on Plausible.
Oh, okay.
It's a live gig. I'm performing.
You're still in charge. You can just move that. Move it up 3 days. Move it up.
I'm not that much in charge.
Move it. Rawhide.
I don't know if you noticed this about me, Matt. You may not notice about me, Matt, but there are not a lot of people that have.
You didn't say that right.
Work with me.
You got to say that phrase over again and use the proper inflection.
I didn't know this about me.
Thank you.
I didn't know this about me, but like unlike some of the other comedians like I'm performing every week. It's like, no, I'd be lucky to perform once or twice a month.
So you're
once a month or so.
You're anal retentive, aren't you?
It's not that. It's just that I know what I do well, and there's some things I don't do well. I don't, and so I don't do the 7-minute, 10-minute spots well. If a friend like back before Elizabeth said she hated me, if she said to me, GD, can you do 5 to 10, 15 minutes, 10-minute spot for me? Where is it? DC. Sure, I'll drive to DC. I'll drive 2 hours, do 10 minutes for you. Okay. But if one of these other yahoos says, GD, will you drive half an hour and do 10 minutes? Like, no, eat my ass. If they're not a friend, but if they're, so I'm just particular now. And before I wasn't as particular, but now I realize that there's so many people that just didn't give a shit about me as a person or performer. And it's up to me to care about me as a person and a performer.
I feel like I want to drive out to LA. I really do. But
what way?
Out to LA.
Oh, now did you get your invitation to see Crack the Sky in May?
I did.
I told them that you probably wouldn't, because I said you live in Long Island, you probably would not make the trip to Maryland for.
Maryland's not a bad drive. That's really like a 4-hour drive. Yeah, it's a possibility. You know what? I can't guarantee I'll be alive in May. I can't even guarantee I'll be alive in February to go. But I so much need some
distractions.
Say sunshine. My cousin who lives in LA told me it was 70 degrees there the other day, and it's like, 70 sounds like 90 to me right now. I love it, and I love it hot because I got the seasonal effect of, I hate fucking winter in New York. I'm sorry to drop an F-bomb on you like that, but that's what it is. Anyway, so yeah,
I should let Ann, actually technically Ann is not LA. I said LA because if I said Laguna Beach, most people would not know.
My home.
So technically it's Laguna Beach, but I didn't look on the map to see where that is in relation to LA.
Oh, it's pretty. It's. I can tell you because when I was before I went to New Mexico, I made a stop in Laguna Beach. Stayed there for about 2 months. It was actually South Laguna Beach, but it. I remember I had to get to LAX. It took me like 5 hours of bus rides to get to LAX. Now it wasn't just one bus, but it's not that far. It's like an hour and a half drive if you have your own car, but by bus it's like a 5-hour trip from South.
Well, I would rent a car, or actually right now I think they've offered to pick me up. It's like pick me up, feed me, clothe me, fly me.
Laguna Beach is as close to heaven as you'll find on this earth.
They're telling me that they said, well, February, they said it may be a little chilly. It'll be like 50 degrees. And I said, that's t-shirt weather. Right now it's 12 degrees where I am.
Yeah, they're lying to you. It'll be 50 degrees. 50 degrees will be the low at night. And during the day it will be 75. Because I was there that time of year before I went to New Mexico, and it was people were like, "Wow, where'd you get a suntan already?" It's like I was on Laguna Beach. That's how.
Well, yeah, it's not certain yet. I'm have to get with them next week to see where we are in terms of to find out for certain. That's I'm just I hate talking about stuff before it. I even, even the gig that I'm doing on the 19th at the stables. I'm a terrible self-promoter.
You're a jinx. But did you see Plausible has a new look and feel? I don't know. I don't remember the old look and feel. I got an email yesterday, new look, brand new look. And I saw your show promoted there. And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should do a show on Plausible. My own little stupid. This would be like breaking my own online comedy cherry. But I didn't do that. I just thought about it for a second, and then I dismissed it. Like, that's a stupid idea. Last night, I think you were in the path. Weren't you in the path of some kind of geomagnetic sky show, like, or not Aurora Borealis, but something. Did you know? Did you go out and look last night?
No, I didn't. No. I was getting ready to accidentally tell a lie, only because I couldn't remember where I was last night. I was about to tell you something different, but that was in the afternoon. I was going to say, last night I was in bed with my wife. No, that was in the afternoon. Last night I
No,
was.
that was me in bed with your wife. I think.
Okay. It was because it was Martin Luther King's Day. I was hoping my wife overcome, but I overcame first.
Oh. That's not good. That's a no-no. I would break the Valentine's Day rule before that one. Anyway,
but I was doing an open mic. I was at Ron's open mic last night.
Oh, say they don't show it wherever that part of Pennsylvania,
Harrisburg,
yeah. That's where they have.
I want to share this. I want to share this with you. I was trying to figure out if my career has gone full circle, or if it's full spiral. Like if
spiraling the drain,
or growing up. It could be spiraling up or spiraling down. But I'm at the same point. So I don't know if I'm looking above, it's like the same point. But if I'm looking at it from the side, I don't know if I'm above or below, and I won't know until later when the spiral continues. But when my career kind of first started. I started doing comedy like in September of 11 years ago. And by the time January, February rolled around, I was so popular, and every person I met said, I can follow me, I can make you big, blah 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 blah. I got money, I got this, and every last one of them I could smell alcohol on like every last one of their breath. So, and nothing ever came from any of those things, And last night, I did the open mic, and a drunk goes, what, you would be great. You'd be great on Kill Tony. And he looks at his friend and goes, I think it's his friend's name. He would be great on Kill Tony, wouldn't he? First of all, I'm thinking myself, but my thought was, you really have no fucking idea about me then, because I'm not. What it was is last night I was literally just doing jokes. I wasn't doing my short form storytelling. What I was just doing some of the jokes that I wrote for Dylan Brody's workshop, because I have no place to do. Now, the jokes that I do, I have no place for them. I won't ever use them in the show for the most part. I don't do jokes. I can probably salvage some of them. So I was doing jokes last night, and they're like, "You should be on Kill Tony. You'd be great on Kill Tony." He goes, "If you ever decide," and this is the alcohol. He goes, "If you ever decide to be on Kill Tony, I'll give you like $300 to help pay for your airfare."
Well, you don't decide to be on.
Yes. And I looked at him. I said, "Do you know how Kill Tony works? You don't decide. You get in a bucket and they draw, and there's like maybe 200 people, and maybe 10 people get on. I don't know how many people they pick. I don't know."
Yeah, I don't know either. But let me just say this: I'm not going to say that anything derogatory about you. But the truth is, a minute will go by and you still have not finished the premise.
No. You think I don't know that?
No, I'm saying it to this guy who was at the club last night.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's been there. He's a regular, and he really likes what I do when storytelling.
Bring a stopwatch with you and give it to him and say, "Go ahead, hit go when I start, and then tell me how I can do in a minute."
I have stuff that I can do in a minute. It's my introduction to the rest of my stuff. But yeah, but it was just so funny. It's like he likes Kill Tony, but he has no idea how it works. It's like, if you ever decide to be on Kill Tony, it's like, no.
Yeah.
So my career is going back to where the
also, if you ever decide to win the lottery.
Yes, I should. Yes, if I ever decide to win the lottery, I will use that money for the good of mankind after I take care of my bills.
For the good of mankind. Paul talked about we do have enough money in this country that there should be nobody homeless and all this stuff. And thinking about, like, if I got Joe Rogan money for doing this show, I'd be giving it all away. But I also come back to the fact that turning the other cheek, because we have brought homeless people into my home several times, and
it's always turned out bad.
Yeah, and so now I'm gun shy about helping people out to that extent. Like, if I have money, I'll give it to them. I'll buy them a meal. But at this point, after 4 or 5 times, we've invited homeless people here, tried to get them on their feet, and they end up fucking you and robbing from you, and where the police have to get involved.
I told my wife that if we had that kind of money, I would buy a lot, like a lot of land, not a lot like a massive amount, but a lot like in a plot, like an acre or two, and maybe put several mini homes on it. Those little mini houses,
a bunkie, bunkie, like I'm trying to win a bunkie.
Yeah, those little mini houses that you can put on there, and then if people need a place to stay for, I'll say, let me say 6 months to get on their feet or something. Or if they're in an abusive relationship and need some place to go to hide from their spouses or something, use it like that and say, look, you don't pay me back, but you don't fuck it up for the next person. You take care of this place, and maybe, and I'd hire somebody to go by to do the maintenance and shit like that, because I'm not going to do it because I will get angry. It's like, motherfucker, I'm trying to get you on your feet and this is what you do to my fucking house? You little rat fucking bastard. Get out. I would have somebody else I could pay. That way they could be dispassionate and say, okay, I'll fix it, But yeah, I would help people, but I'm not going to help people where I'm like, I would not take in a homeless person. I learned my lesson a long time ago. I didn't have to do it a second time. My own brother, I lived, when I bought my first house, it was a 4-bedroom house, but it was a fixer upper. Okay, I bought it, I fixed it up, and my brother didn't lift a fucking finger. And he had workshop skills. He had woodworking skills. He did. He knew how to do that kind of stuff. And he came by once when I first bought it. He checked out. He goes, "Man, you got a lot of work to do here." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You need any help? Call me." I said, "I need help." I said, "I need help. I'm by myself." He goes, "I'll be around next weekend." He goes, "I got this, I got that." Next weekend come, he doesn't show up. And I said, okay, I knew my brother wouldn't show up. So about 7 months later, the place is looking real good. I'm working my ass off. I got the house is looking really, really good. I'm not dating. I'm not drinking. I'm not going out. I come home. I work on the house until I drop dead. Until I'm dead tired. I get up. I go to work. I come home, work on the house till I'm dead tired. I did that for several months. Then my brother calls me and he goes, "Hey, Glenn, can I stay with you for a couple of days, man? Me and Rosie are having difficulties." I said, "No." He goes, "Just for a couple of days, man. You got a 4-bedroom house. You got room." I said, No, you can't stay with me. I said, "First of all, you and I don't get along. And after 3 days, you're going to say, 'Can I stay 3 more days?' And I'm going to say no. And you can say, 'Well, throw me out.' And then you and I are going to have a fist fight. And we're going to be breaking up my fucking house. And you don't care because it's not your house. And I just fixed these walls. And no, you can't stay here. No." Yeah. And so his girlfriend calls me. She goes, "Glenn, can Ralph stay with you for like 3 days? He and I said, "I don't care. Not my problem. Not my relationship." I said, "You two of you are grown-ass people. You need to work it out or get it or break up. But you're not staying here. Not doing it."
Oh. Now for the comic relief part of the program. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. This is a guy I follow on Facebook. Let me highlight this. Name is Drew Forbes. And he's trolling the MAGA people hard, and they don't get it. He said, "I don't watch none of the woke NFL over the weekend, not a single second, till they support our troops, ARE troops, honor the flag, and change the name back to the Washington Redmen." Basically, he's got these support our troops hats on, and he's just like playing it up. Whoa, let me do this. Come on, add to stage, and then do this, and then remove. But this is the thing, and he's got so many MAGA followers who think he's real on it. Like, I'm inviting people in my man cave to watch a Steven Seagal film, and all these fucking MAGAs are just like eating it up because they think he's really part of their team, but he's making fun of them the whole time. So Drew Forbes is his name. Follow him. It's good for laughs.
Now, is that his real name? I mean,
who knows? Who knows?
That's right. How would I? Yeah, I'm just saying because at some point, if somebody finds out that he's fucking with him,
Yeah, but he's been doing it a lot. Like every day, he's got like 5 or 6 posts like that where he's just he was standing with his back to the game the whole time, just staring at the flag because he supports our troops.
Mm.
And all the thing is, he misspelled so many of the words. It's just really, really funny. But so that's comic relief for you, Drew Forbes. I should try and get him on the program to talk about the stuff with the glasses and the hats and all that, everything. He's apparently spending a lot of money on hats that say "support our troops." You got to give him credit. I mean, he's dedicated to the bit.
I admire people who have like a character that they play on social media.
Yeah,
that they can stick to the bit.
That Liam Neeson guy. He takes he's making fun of the actor Liam. Well, he's adopted his persona on Twitter, Liam Neeson, but he's Liam Neeson, like the car, the Nissan.
Right.
Yeah. So, but people keep telling him, you're a shitty. Go back to making shitty movies. And he's like, all these fucking MAGA people, one after another, just saying how shitty his movies are. It's like, yeah, I agree. Every movie I ever made sucks. He never made a movie.
I had a blind Mike troll pop up in my social media a couple of days ago.
Oh,
that just to mock me. He says, "You're the best, GD." I said, "Thank you. Thank you for watching and commenting."
Well, get them on the show, and they won't never show their face.
No.
Is there a State of the Union this year, or?
Yeah, it's pretty fucking awful.
No, I mean a speech. A state of this, right? It's supposed to happen in January, and it's January.
Well, again, it's by invitation of Mike Johnson, so it's whenever he invites them.
I thought it always happened in January, though.
I have no idea. I would think it would be in January because it's like after they had a year. They could do like a year in review. But he did a State of the Union last year.
Right.
And I'm surprised that Trump doesn't try to do like one every 3 months.
Because he is he's just lying like he always does, but he's trying to tell people the economic numbers are great. And Stephen kind of brought this up yesterday. Gas prices are down. Yeah, gas prices are down a little bit. And if they keep going down, they'll be almost to the point where they were when Joe Biden left office. This is a reality. I think I got to find these pictures. The last day, January 19th last year, I took a picture of the gas pump I was at. And I was at Poospatuck, where it's much cheaper. And it was $2.47 a gallon. And so obviously the actual prices around here were still a little bit higher than that, $2.50 or something. We're still not down to that, but gas prices are down a little bit, but they're not down to where they were when Biden left office. So that's his biggest win, is gas prices are almost
and that has
down.
nothing to do with him.
Right.
Yeah. People don't. Yeah, that has nothing to do with him.
But grocery prices, and he's saying rents are down, grocery prices are down, and how can anybody leave a grocery store and saying, "Yeah, that's right, grocery prices are down"? Like, where does that register with you? Because no, it's not.
What he did, I know, like during Thanksgiving, what Walmart did was to keep the prices low on their Thanksgiving day. They had like a Thanksgiving meal, like a package deal.
Yeah.
First of all, they swapped out all the name brand stuff for store brand stuff, so that brings the price down. And they had 25% less stuff in it.
Yeah.
So that's how they kept it. And so Trump is going, and at Walmart, their Thanksgiving meal is less than it was last year. It's like, yeah, because they're taking a loss. First of all, every store took a loss on the turkeys, hoping that you'd come in for the low price on the turkey and then buy the rest of the stuff there. Everybody did that. Every store did that. They were taking a loss on the turkeys to lure you into the stores.
Yeah.
And he's going, the prices of turkeys are lower than they were last year. It's like, not exactly.
So my reason for asking about the State of the Union, I had this fantasy, this thought.
I'm sorry, Matt. Kev just put the price of gas down in New Zealand?
Wow. But Trump has nothing to do with your prices. No,
Yeah. I'm just saying, but
that is weird.
fuck.
Has it always been that way, or did it just recently go up?
They're an island. They're an island. It's not like they produce their own oil.
I'm just wondering if the Venezuela thing, because cutting off boats that are going that way.
Oh yeah, Kevin. Where do y'all import your oil from? Your gas? Where does it come from? That's a good question.
While we're waiting for him to answer that, my thought was, if there is a State of the Union, and you can't get the Democrats to ever agree on this, or the few Republicans that still have some common sense, but I would think, while he's giving this State of the Speech and he says grocery prices are down, everybody should have a unified laugh, because that is the thing that hurts when people laugh at him. That's the way to get to him. So if the Democrats could ever just put aside whatever they're feeling and just agree to just mock him and laugh at him, like, to me, that would be the ultimate. Maybe you don't want to drive him totally fucking nuts, because then it'd be fucking nuking Minneapolis or something.
The State of the Union, the next one is February 24th.
February. Okay.
The next one is scheduled for February 24th.
All right. So let's get with them then. This is what we want to do. Write to your Democratic congressman. Write to the few Republicans who seem to be waking up to the fact that this guy's not even a real Republican. He's not a real conservative, and all this stuff. And just tell them all. Just laugh at him. Just laugh at everything, every claim. Don't say, "Well, that's a lie." Don't sit there and not applaud. Laugh loudly, and put on your biggest fake laugh that you possibly can, just to fucking humiliate him. That's what we should.
I did a show a while ago, 6 years ago, and a friend of mine said, I want to be there, but I have laryngitis. I can't laugh. She said, I won't be able to laugh, so I don't know if I'll be there. And I said, well, show up. I said, show up anyway. And so I had a sign made for her, and one side says LOL with a happy face, and the other side had a frowny face that said SMH, shake my head. And so I gave it to her when she sat down, so that she didn't have to laugh. She could just hold up a laughy face or a sad face if the joke wasn't funny.
Wow.
And they should have those, just a little sign, so they'll just hold up the happy faces or the sad faces.
Oh. You should just say, well, it's my show. Don't worry about laughing. And there's not going to be any laughs. Just and let you do it 15 seconds at a time and just say. But this, because not yours, the reels that AI has cut up that have you in and making points about how we fix the courts and all this kind of stuff. You get a lot of Trump trolls on there, and they're saying, well, this is a Democrat thing. Democrats always want to pack the courts, and the liberals always want to pack the courts. It's like, you don't have any fucking clue what you're talking about, because you don't even know how to define a liberal. You define a liberal as anybody who's not 100%. Marjorie Taylor Greene is now a liberal in your view. Dick Cheney was a liberal in your view. So you have no fucking credibility. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And both sides have always sought to have a majority in the court, or pack the courts, if you want to call it that.
Right.
This is the way it is. This is what the two-party system results in, is both teams want a super majority. They want a super majority. That's how you get things done. So
that's how Trump, and that's what Mitch McConnell did for Trump. Right. He held off. They fucked Obama over.
Yeah. So these people who just think that, they want to just comment, it's such a Democratic thing to do. Well, fuck you. You don't listen. I'm not a Democrat. And I never will. I never have been registered, and I've been a registered Republican for a couple of years there. I've never been a registered Democrat, never will be. But the idea that one team is alone in this idea of wanting the majority in the court, everybody I know in 2016 were their major reason for voting for Trump was that Hillary would put Merrick Garland in there. You know, we want to keep the court, like, you know, because at that time there was Mitch McConnell was denying Obama's last chance to put another Democrat on. So how can you even make this fucking argument? This was a thing that Trump got in with the idea of putting as many new Republicans on, and he did. Kavanaugh, Barrett, Gorsuch. I mean, so the idea, yeah, who's trying to stack the court? Everybody wants to stack the court. These fucking idiots who just comment. So I'm being I've lost my patience with them. You're supposed to be nice on YouTube. Did you know that? In the comment section, you're supposed to be nice.
I guess I'd never read that part.
All right. No, they say we'll keep it civil and keep it nice, keep it respectful. I'm just like, I own this fucking chat room. I'm not going to be respectful, and I'm not like going over the top saying you should get an STD from a couch. But I'm saying you don't even know what a fucking liberal is. You don't know. You can't even define what liberalism is. If you think Dick Cheney is a liberal, if you think Liz Cheney is a liberal, if you think Marjorie Taylor Greene is a liberal.
If they thought Barack Obama was a liberal, he was a centrist. He was not a liberal.
Well,
as a matter of fact, he was a corporatist. He was a corporate Democrat.
Yeah. That's a fair way to put it. I don't know. All these people who call themselves centrist right now, I'm not even sure. What the labels mean.
Yeah.
The labels are just all inside out, because I feel like Harris was probably more conservative than anybody in the Trump administration right now, because everything she was talking about goes back to the Eisenhower Republican conservative stuff. The stuff that MAGA claims they want to get back to is this capitalism with guardrails and rules and loopholes. The loopholes are there to be incentives for people not to act on their greediest impulses. So if you want capitalism to thrive, you put up a 90% corporate tax rate. But then if they create enough jobs for the working class, union jobs, good jobs, then you give them a tax break. That seems to work.
Yes.
That's a conservative idea. Somehow now they think, well, that's liberalism. What we really want is the corporations to pay no taxes and just have a free ride and let the greed take over. That's not conservative. That's fucking monarchyism.
And it's not only is it not conservative, it's not good for the fucking economy or the country. It's not good for it's not good for anybody except for the super rich. And even even at that point, they'll be making most of their money off of buying and reselling their own stocks to each other, because people won't be able to buy their products if they're making products.
Yeah,
it's elitism. Some of them don't even make products anymore. America pretty much has stopped. We've almost given up on making products.
Yeah. So my bottom line is Kamala Harris, however you want to
Caramel.
Yeah. She's more conservative than anybody in the Trump administration. Prove me wrong.
And also, she's also more conservative because she's trying to conserve the Constitution and conserve people's rights, not trample them.
Yeah. So, everything's turned upside down. These fucking people who just say, liberals and Democrats, you don't even know what the fucking word means. You can't think for yourself. You're just fucking spouting Sean Hannity's fucking talking points. Get the fuck off my chat room. That's what I'm saying. Which is sooner or later, I'm going to get banned from YouTube altogether. So tomorrow you will be doing a show. We don't know what it's about yet, but we will know in a few hours. And then Thursday, we don't have any guests scheduled, but I'm going to see if I can get my friend John Rulo, who just released a new album out. Had me fooled a little bit because it's like 25 songs on his new album. And I was asking because it sounds really well produced. I know it's his voice. And I was asking him questions about it last night, and he said what he's doing is writing the stuff down, pen and paper, putting his guitar chords into an AI app, Suno, and it takes his voice and then does the production. It had me really fooled. Like, this is really good stuff. I didn't hear any AI stuff in it at all. I did think, whoa, what did you just do? Buy a new studio or get all these studio players? Because I'm hearing instruments I know you don't play, like mandolin and stuff. But the music, the songs are really good quality. So hopefully to get him on Thursday morning. Talk about that.
I was wondering why there wasn't anything beyond today. I was like,
Friday. There's something Friday. There's
a that's yeah.
String Theory guitar.
You're right. Yeah. Man, I was creating the bucket for the Reverend show for Sunday. Had everything done, and then I went to put in the thumbnail picture, the image, and I selected the wrong one, and I went to change it, and I had to start all over again.
Son of a bitch.
That's what I said. Fuck, I don't feel like typing this shit again.
Yeah.
So now what I did is I have like a template now, so that I can just cut and paste and just change a couple of words, like the date, the episode number, and stuff like that. So if it ever happens again, I'm not typing all that shit all over again.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to do that.
I know. I hate whenever. Oh shit! I just fucking wasted 10 minutes, 15 minutes typing shit out, and now I got to start over again. Fuck.
Yeah. And then the next time, I don't want to type as many words.
Yeah.
And if it happens the third time, I'm down to 2 words like show.
Wait, so do we have? Did you this week? The Rev, is he still doing Looking for God in All the Wrong Places?
Yeah, he's doing the song "Shine" by Collective Soul.
Shine. I remember that. It was kind of weird. It had like a trebly part, right? There was like where the vocal sounds like it's going through a megaphone or something. No,
I don't remember that.
I think there is.
I haven't listened to the song yet.
It does like a guitar riff, and then you hear. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. Yes. Anyway, all right. I don't really know. You're gonna run out of spiritual songs soon, right?
I was thinking about that today. I said, you'll know. I said, but here's the deal. Here's it. Now I'll give myself a nickel. I will run out of songs before I do Stairway to Heaven.
How about Let It Be? I mean, Let It Be.
I did. Yeah, I did. That was on the list. I did think about Let It Be. But it doesn't have anything to do with God as much as Mary. Yeah. And that was why I was like, because I never did like
There's
that.
a big thing with Catholics and born agains where the one of them, Catholics love Mary, right? And
right.
Born agains don't.
Right. As a matter of fact, when I used to play at a Catholic church, they used to, when I was in the folk group, they used to love to want to play that song. And I said, look, I said, I will play the guitar. I will not sing these words. I won't do it. I won't do it. I will, no.
Mother Mary comes to me. Well, that's not really anything bad. She comes to me. And then she says, hey, how you doing?
No, I'd say, and I would say, I won't sing those words. I'll sing, she comes on me. I'll sing that.
She speaks words of wisdom.
Yeah, so I kept saying, if we change it to Holy Spirit instead of Mother Mary, then I will gladly do it.
All right, so I'm going to wrap this thing up because I do have to go to a meeting. I have a Zoom meeting coming up after this, and then I have to do a social media marketing plan for a puppy mill, a local puppy mill, like a breeder or something. So that's what I have to do. So I'll see. Don't forget to let me know when you're ready for me to create the bucket before Tony goes putting pictures of me for tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. That's all. That's all we have. You're probably, everybody went over to Tony's show by now, right? So he's recapping last night. They're all gone to Tony's. We're having a party. Matt and GD aren't going. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Don't forget to turn on.
Don't forget to turn on your partners.
Right.
I
listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen